Good morning, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Thank you so much for your love, like, and respect, which I am daily getting from your comments and from your personal messages. Thank you so much. I'm really feeling very overwhelmed. I can't express myself except a big thank you. I had created this channel only for those students who are not able to get a proper education. They cannot go to school, so they should learn. So I think I had achieved that level. I am trying to reach. I had not reached. I'm trying to reach, and hope I'll reach. So without wasting a single moment, let us start with the chapter number 4, Agriculture, Grade 8 Geography. I do not need to say here that please like my channel and subscribe because you all are doing this already, but still thank you so much. But please keep on subscribing my channel, and for more videos please press bell icon. Chapter 4 is agriculture. You can see an image. Again, we are going to do one case study. Here you can see there are three kids, Gurpreet, Madhav and Tina. They were walking through a village where they saw a farmer tilling land. Farmer told them that he was growing wheat and had just manure to the soil to make it more fertile. Farmer is saying that he wants to grow wheat from that particular piece of land, and to make soil more fertile, he was going to add some manure in it. He told the children that the wheat once grow up, he is going to sell it in the mandi, from where it would be taken to the factories to make bread and biscuits from that flour. Transformation from a plant to a finished product involves three types of economic activities: primary, secondary, and tertiary activities. What are these primary, secondary, and tertiary? We will discuss in brief in our next slides. Agriculture is derived from Latin word ager or agri, which means soil, and culture means cultivation or tilling of that soil. Primary activities are connected with extraction and production of natural resources. Agriculture, fishing, and gathering are good examples. Primary activities means those activities which are related to agriculture, fishing, or any gathering activity like cattle rearing or something like that. Secondary activities are concerned with the processing of these resources, like the wheat farmer was saying he's going to sell it in a mandi and it is going to be get converted in a form of a biscuit. Similarly, all those things uh, which are basically manufactured in a factories or industries comes in the category of secondary activities, like manufacturing of steel, baking of bread, weaving of cloth. Tertiary activities provide support to primary and secondary sector through services. Tertiary sector provides services. These services include transport, trade, banking, insurance, and advertisement. World distribution of arable land. In this map, you can see how much land we are using for agriculture purpose. Agriculture is a primary activity. It includes growing crops, rearing of livestock, or fishing also. In the world, 50% of persons are engaged in agriculture activity. Two-thirds of India's population is still dependent on agriculture. Favorable topography of soil and climate are vital for agricultural activity. The land on which the crops are grown is known as arable land. In the map, you can see that agriculture activity is concentrated in those regions of the world where suitable factors for the growing of crop exist. Agriculture is a primary activity. It doesn't include growing crops, but also fishing comes in this category, rearing cattle, livestock also. So in the map, you already seen that how much part of the world, how much part of land in world we are using for agriculture process. Land on which crops grown known as arable land means that land is we are using only for growing agriculture crops, or we can say we are using that land for fishing activities, fishing, farming, pisciculture, silk farming, sericulture type activities we are doing on that land. Science and art of cultivation of the land. and growing crops and rearing livestock is known as farming. Sericulture, commercial rearing of silkworms. It may supplement the income of the farmer, in which we do farming of silkworms to produce silk is known as sericulture. Pisciculture, breeding of fish in specially constructed tanks and ponds, known as pisciculture. Viticulture, cultivation of grapes is known as viticulture. Horticulture, growing vegetables, flowers and fruits for commercial value, known as horticulture. Interesting fact. Here's one interesting fact for you. Organic farming. In this type of farming, organic manure and natural pesticides are used instead of chemicals. We are not using any kind of a chemicals to grow crops. We basically use organic farm manure. No genetic modification is done to increase the yield of the crop. Sometimes you had seen the size of the vegetables are not normal, right? So how the size of that vegetable like pumpkin is too much? It's because of the genetic modification. In organic farming, we do not use any kind of a genetic modification. Subsistence farming. This type of farming is practiced to meet the needs of farmers' family. Traditionally, low levels of technology and household labors are used to produce on small output. Subsistence farming can be further classified as intensive subsistence and primitive subsistence farming. Subsistence farming means where you are not using modern technology or you are using low level of technology and your family members are engaged in the activity, the growing crops. So the production is also going to be less in amount. If you are putting less input, you are going to get less output also. Subsistence farming divided in two categories, intensive subsistence and primitive subsistence. Intensive subsistence. In intensive subsistence agriculture, the farmers cultivate a small plot of land using simple tools and more labor. Climate with large number of days with sunshine and fertile soils permit growing of more than one crop annually on the same plot. Rice is the main crop. Other crops include wheat, maize, pulses, and oilseeds. Intensive subsistence farming is prevalent in the thickly populated areas of the monsoon region of South, Southeast, and East Asia. In intensive subsistence farming, we basically took a small piece of land. There we are using simple tools and more labor. Okay. We need too much sunshine for that sunshine in that land and fertile soil also. And we basically try to grow only one crop on that land. Shifting cultivation is practiced in thickly forested areas of Amazon, based in tropical Africa, parts of Southeast Asia and Northeast India. These are the areas of heavy rainfall and quick regeneration of vegetation. Here, we are doing farming, especially in those areas where rainfall is too much. Rainfall is very heavy, you can say. Plot of land is cleared by felling the trees and burning them. Ashes are then mixed with the soil and crops like maize, yam, potatoes and cassavas are grown. After the soil loses its fertility, land is abandoned and the cultivators move to a new plot. Shifting cultivation, that's why also known as slash and burn agriculture, because here we burn a piece of land, we cut the trees and then we burn the land and the ashes of the trees get mixed with the soil and helps us to grow maize, yam and potatoes. Once the soil loses its fertility, farmers abandon that land. Shifting cultivation known as by different names in different countries. You can see it is known as Jhuming cultivation in Northeast India, Milpa in Mexico, Roca, Brazil, Ladang, Malaysia. Now we'll discuss nomadic herding. What is a nomadic herding? Nomadic herding is a primitive practice by people in the semi-arid and arid regions of Sahara, Central Asia, and some parts of India like Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir also. In this type of farming, herdsmen move from place to place with their animals for fodder and water along defined routes. This type of movement arises in response to climatic constraints and terrain. Sheep, camel, yak, and goats are most commonly reared. They provide milk, meat, wool, hides, and other products to the herders and their families. Nomadic herding, in simple terms, you can say people keep on moving from one region to another region with their animals, fodder, water, and everything. This type of movement basically depends on the climate and the topography of the region. The animals they usually carry with them are sheep, camel, yak, and goats. You can see next to the image that there are some camels. These camels are also part of the nomadic herding. Commercial farming. In commercial farming, crops are grown and animals are reared for sale in market. The area cultivated and the amount of capital used is large. Most of the work is done by machines. Commercial farming includes commercial grain farming, mixed farming, and plantation agriculture. In commercial grain farming, crops are grown for commercial purpose. Wheat and maize are common commercially grown grains. Major areas where commercial grains farming is practiced are temperate grasslands of North America, Europe, and Asia. These areas are sparsely populated with large farms spreading over hundreds of hectares. Several winters restrict the growing season and only a single crop can be grown. In commercial farming, we basically grow only those crops which we can sell it in the market and get some money in exchange of those crops. In mixed farming, land is used for growing food and fodder crops and rearing livestock. It is basically practiced in Europe, Eastern USA, Argentina, Southeast Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. Means we are using single piece of land for growing large number of crops and you can say food or fodder crops. Or a plantation. Plantation is also a type of a commercial farming. Here we grow a single crop like tea, coffee, sugarcane, cashew, rubber, banana or cotton. Large amount of labor and capital are required. For this we need large number of labor and capital. Produce may be processed on the farm itself or in nearby factories. Whatever the things we are producing here are basically processed in farm or its nearby factories. Like we grow potatoes, we install a chips making factory near that potato farms. So it's easy to collect the potato from the fields, send it to the factory, convert it into form of a chips, and then from factories it sends into the markets. The development of a transport network is thus essential for such farming. Major plantations are found in the tropical regions of the world. Rubber in Malaysia, coffee in Brazil, tea in India, and Sri Lanka are some examples. You can see banana plantation and rice cultivation. The way people are doing this activity, they have to stand on water. The whole day they have to stand on water and work to grow rice for us. That's why do not waste food and understands its importance, how hardly they had grown this. Now we'll discuss rice and wheat. Rice is major food crop of the world. We all like to eat rice, right? I cannot live without rice. At least once in a day, in my meal, rice is included. It is the staple diet of the tropical and subtropical regions. Rice needs high temperature, high humidity, and rainfall. It grows best in alluvial clay soil which can retain water. China leads in the production of rice, followed by India, Japan, Sri Lanka, and Egypt. In favorable climatic conditions, as in West Bengal and Bangladesh, 2 to 3 crops a year are grown. Wheat. Wheat requires moderate temperature and rainfall during growing season and bright sunshine at the time of harvest. It thrives best in well-drained loamy soil. Wheat is grown extensively in USA, Canada, Argentina, Russia, Ukraine, Australia, and India. In India, it is grown in winter. Millets and maize. Millets, also known as coarse grains, and can be grown on less fertile and sandy soils. It is a hardy crop that needs low rainfall and high to moderate temperature and adequate rainfall. Jowar, bajra, and ragi are grown in India. Other countries are Nigeria, China, and Niger. Maize requires moderate temperature, rainfall, and lots of sunshine. It needs well-drained fertile soil. Maize is grown in North America, Brazil, China, Russia, Canada, India, and Mexico. If you had watched my previous videos, I had already told you how to write answers, and you can make your answers more effective so that teachers can give you marks. Cotton and jute. Cotton requires high temperature, light rainfall, 210 frost-free days, and bright sunshine for its growth. It grows best on black and alluvial soils. China, USA, India, Pakistan, Brazil, and Egypt are the leading producers of cotton. It is one of the main raw material for the cotton textile industry. Jute. Jute was also known as golden fiber. It grows well on alluvial soil and requires high temperature, heavy rainfall, and humid climate. This crop is grown in the tropical areas. India and Bangladesh are the leading producers of jute. Now we are going to discuss about beverage crops. Coffee and tea are the good examples of beverage crop. Coffee require warm and wet climate and well-drained loamy soil. Hill slopes are more suitable for growth of this crop. Brazil is a leading producer followed by Colombia and India. Tea is a beverage crop grown on plantations. This requires cool climate and well-distributed high rainfall throughout the year for the growth of its tender leaves. It needs well-drained loamy soils and gentle slopes. Labor in large number is required to pick the leaves. Kenya, India, China, Sri Lanka produce the best quality tea in the world. Now we are going to discuss about agriculture development. We need to develop our agriculture sector also. It refers to efforts made to increase farm production in order to meet the growing demand of increasing population. As we all know that the population of a world, not only country, but world is also rising rapidly. Demand is too much, everyone needs food. So it's a duty or responsibility to choose such tools by which we can grow crops at an abundant rate and fulfill or satisfy the population. This can be achieved in many ways, such as increasing the cropped area, number of crops grown, improving irrigation facilities, use of fertilizers, and high-yielding variety of seeds. Mechanization of agriculture is also another aspect of agriculture development. Ultimate of agriculture development is to increase the food security. What do you mean by food security? Anyone knows about it? Food security we will discuss in our next slides. Here I can give you a short information about it. Food security means where we store foods, where we store all the dried food items, not the cooked one, okay, raw in a raw form. We store them food items, and when it's an emergency situation like a drought, flood, earthquake, so we can uh, feed people from the stored food items. Okay. Agriculture has developed at different places in different parts of the world. Developing countries with large population usually practice intensive agriculture where crops are grown on small holdings, mostly for subsistence. Larger holdings are more suitable for commercial agriculture as in USA, Canada, and Australia. With the help of two case studies of farms, one from India and other from USA, let us understand about agriculture in the developing and a developed country. We need to understand what are developed country and developing country. Developed country means those are already, you can say, achieve the level of success. they are developed, like America. Developing, those who are not underdeveloped, means not too much backward. They had stepped forward, uh, but they had not completely reached to the level of development. They are working on it. So, example of that developing country is India itself. Farm in India. This is a small village, Adilabad in Ghazipur district of Uttar Pradesh. Munna Lal is a small farmer in this village who has farmland of 1.5 hectare. His house is in the main village. He purchases high-yielding variety of seeds from the market every alternate year. Land is fertile and he grows at least two crops in a year, which are normally wheat or rice and pulses. Farmers takes advice of his friend and elders as well as government agriculture officers regarding farming practice. Did you get my point? There is a small piece of land, 1.5 hectare. Munna Lal works on that land. His house is in the main village. He purchased good quality of seeds every year, and his land is also fertile. And whatever the crops he can grow, he grow two crops in a year. Basically, those are wheat or rice, or wheat and pulses, or rice and pulses. He keeps on taking advice from his friends, from his elders and government officers, so that he can get an idea which are the new technologies in the market, and if he can take help of those technologies in growing the crops, it helps in increasing the number of production, by which he can get a good source of a good amount also after selling those product in a market. He takes a tractor on a rent for plowing his field, though some of his friends still use traditional method of using bullock for plowing. There is a tube well in the nearby field which he takes on rent to irrigate his field. Munna Lal also has two buffaloes and few hens. He sells milk in the cooperative store located in the nearby town. He is a member of cooperative society which also advises him on the type of fodder for his animal, safety measures to protect the health of livestock and artificial insemination. All the members of the family helped him in various farm activities. Sometimes he takes credit from a bank or the agriculture cooperative society to buy HYV seeds, means high yielding variety seeds, and implements. He sells his produce in the mandi located in the nearby town. Since majority of the farmers do not have lack storage facilities, they are forced to sell the produce even when the market is not favorable to them. In recent years, the government has taken some steps to develop storage facilities. Now, what do you understand in this paragraph? Here they are saying that Munna Lal is not using a traditional technology for growing crops. He is using tractor and tube wells, which other farmers are not doing. He also has some cattle farming activities also. He has two buffaloes and few hens. He sells the milk of the buffaloes in the cooperative store in his town. He's also a member of a cooperative society. He keeps on working and taking advices from the doctors and from the veterinary doctors, you can say, that which type of a food he can choose for his animals, how he can keep them healthy. Okay, he keeps on taking ideas from the scientists, from the agricultural scientists and agriculture officers about the type of seeds he should use. He keeps on taking credit from a bank, agriculture bank, NABARD type bank, which are basically you can say designed or opened by government of India only for the farmers, so that they can get a credit at a very low rate of interest. Farm in USA. Average size of farm in USA is much larger than that of Indian farm. Typical farm size in USA is about 250 hectares. The farmer generally resides in the farm. Some of the major crops grown are corn, soybean, wheat, cotton, and sugar beet. Joe Horan, a farmer in the USA, in Iowa State, owns 300 hectares of land. He grows corn on his field after making sure that soil and water resources meet the needs of this crop. Adequate measures are taken to control pests that can damage the crop. From time to time, he sends the soil samples to a soil testing laboratory to check whether the nutrients are sufficient or not. Results helps Joran to plan a scientific fertilizer program. His computer is linked to the satellite, which gives him a precise pictures of his field. So you can see the modern technology or tools which Joe Horan is using in his farm. He keeps on testing his soil on a regular basis, especially in a laboratory. He has a satellite through which he can see picture of his land. So it's really amazing. Okay, he also helps to use chemical fertilizer and pesticides wherever required. The pictures helps him to understand in which part of land he need to use chemical fertilizers and pesticides. He used tractors, seeds, drills, levelers, combine harvester, and threshers to perform various agricultural operations. Grains are stored in the automated grain storage or dispatched to market agencies. Farmer in USA works like a businessman, not like a peasant farmer. The way we have farmers in India working, they still known as a farmer. But in USA, they work like a farmer, but they known as a businessman. Here you can see an image where you can from where you can get an idea for mechanized harvesting in the USA. I'm done with my chapter. If you have any query, please put your query in the comment box. Whenever I have time, I try to give you a quick reply about that. There's a Google form link also in the description box. You can fill that link and need any guidance, you can get it from me at any time, any moment. I'm always ready to help my students. I want to help them. This is my only single agenda. And help me to help you. Thank you.